Come to Soogf Online TV. Support our own Gambian Foundation. Support our own Gambian Foundation. This is the first of its kind. Support our own Gambian Foundation is standing on 4 important philosophies. That is to empower, to motivate, to inspire, and of course, to uplift the younger generation of the Gambian society. We are delving deeper into social norms, cultural heritage, and of course, problems affecting our cultures, norms and values. I am going to be your host on the Influencers Program. The Influencers Program will bring young influential people in this country that are eloquent, have experience, and have been inspiring the younger generation. If you have been wondering a platform where you can utilize your talent, if you have been wondering a place where your voice can be heard, Support our own Gambian Foundation has come to utilize our cultures in the right track. They are the rediscovery of the cultural norms, values, and customs. Please join me every Tuesday on Soogf Online TV.
Greetings, wonderful viewers, and welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Influencers Program. And of course, I am your host, ABDOU KOMMA, and this program is brought to you by Soogf Online TV. Support our own Gambian Foundation. Of course, with me here today is IBRAHIM JARRA, a young aspiring climate change activist, a teacher, and of course, an entrepreneur. IBRAHIM JARRA, barka bake for joining Soogf Online TV. I know Support Our Own Gambian Foundation is an online TV that comes to anchor talent, support young entrepreneurs, and of course, anchor just society for all Gambians. So, Ibrahima, it's a pleasure having you on Support Our Own Gambian Foundation.
Thank you very much.
Please tell the wonderful viewers, IBRAHIM JARRA, this young teacher, this aspiring climate change activist, and of course, a young entrepreneur.
Yes, Mr. KOMMA, thank you so much. I think it's a privilege and honor being invited here from the rural Gambia towards the urban Gambia.
Amazing.
You know, exploring the young people with their mindset and with their visions. I am so much happy to be here. You know, and my journey as a climate change activist have started long ago. I believe in my entrepreneurial journey has caused a lot of aspiration towards my climate change activism itself, because I always have interest in agricultural science, and I have interest when it comes to small gardening and horticulture itself.
Horticulture.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. If in the rural areas there, I think I started that as at a very young age, at a time whereby I got inspiration from many people within the country here and outside the country here when it comes to what can you do for your own people. Yeah. So my journey as a climate change activist started like that way, and within the rural area, I have seen a lot of issues that most people engage into, which really affects the climate. That's where I got myself in. What can I do? How can I have a say towards the world? How can I have interaction with others to come and help in order to battle such a problem, you know, affecting the society here?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So in general, that you also delve into entrepreneurship. That is subsistence agriculture, and horticulture. This is amazing. You've seen young people delving deeper into a self-sufficient and a production area where they think they can thrive in and also depend on other people, but thinking that we can delve deeper into this and do it. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's a self-employment job. You create an avenue for you to have an area or to employ people. So this is very amazing. Ibrahim, I tell you, are a climate change activist, an aspiring climate change activist. So please, how does your journey started? Like Yafonyame, journey started as a young man, really in the field of entrepreneurship, in the field of climate change, and of course you are a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is really a very, very difficult area that a young man, is striving all into this arena.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. KOMMA, I love when you kumara baki, and niajube Gambia kono jang mo jama biji ining hakilul beter la nyobulle olomu ye fenne be to mi alon ko sa kino ke fanna fa nu fana kam mon nafa bari min ka kole ya jama jamba dat la nyaade wala jumal be ma ko la katati bari to bawol ka mi dron big visions requires humble beginning ni ye kusoto e fanto adati min be bul o kumata bake so nde kabir be do yaring ni nata business la fanala kam ton kuluro le kono banara jibe business jumal fa melo lam fonye mi alon ko abadanna na danna wala annu fana mol fana mapel o tumolo nakaran kono anina kiskisiro ko nada jibe ko fonse muru banko kan kotanke ni seno date kotanke o tumolo e bajala nsem fanna no e bajala nsem modul fana nafa no nyame na entrepreneurial journey date wala nyam nata je fana climate change nim to keta moto mi alon ko mbuka support nka ko tuba wolle fennate mole dron malo mun wala kulu melon ka meta ke tuba dron ka inata ka non de dron ba nata je ko be kule fo kan which is very important ni nata misal fa yiri tutola fannala ni nata jibe nkana dulal jane kam tan dal ma fonto je in the rural Gambia e kay tili kanu lansi da dron sama bana dron ye wulo ko no jane yiro be jane da fongol be faje nyamo be jane je ani nara jibe fanko la fanna ni nara jibe londo la fannal nin no fenati mi alon ko nite je dron ndalla bal wote sonyano la so tumo len ko sa wodon tafana min kala nakkan kam min bembulu mbadat la jere with this little salary I used to have in the teaching field. As we all know, I started from that little amount of starting, as I did almost 6 months course on agronomy when it comes to pawpaw production and then tomato production and cucumber production. This is where I started basically with 11 beds in the first year. In the second year, I went and I increased it to 22 beds. Now in the third year now, I have more than 66 beds that have tomato, that have cucumber, and almost to 150 plants of pawpaw, which is an area that I have specialized on, and I have started creating something for myself. So I came to see this is something in connection with climate change.
Of course.
Yeah. So then
sustainable agriculture.
Yeah. So this is where now I get connected to many people that have inspired me. Especially with the first year, I was lucky to attend the local conference of youths on climate change. This have boosted my knowledge and have boosted my experience in understanding itself what climate change is
all about.
Yeah,
amazing. Because like area, journey as a farmer, what do we say? Somebody who do agronomy, somebody who delve into animal crop protection. Is very related to climate change. Because one of the things we come in for about it is that sustainable agriculture is good, and it can mitigate the problems of climate change. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, Brother, this is very interesting. You started a journey as a young entrepreneur. So you bring a connection. So a connection will make between climate change and agriculture. You think if you do sustainable agriculture, you can also lead to the fight of climate change. But bad agriculture can also lead to the inflation or the effects of climate change. So that is very, very obvious. So Brahma, this is going to be interesting because like then right now, many people in the Gambia are enlightened all along. Like you can't time when you are in the rural area, the more climate change, innovation, there are innovations. Because long, but now you know it. You impact many lives because you think climate change is a problem. So, Ibrahim, why do you think climate change is a problem?
Yeah, I believe climate change is a problem because the experience it is on us as human beings. Being young, old, or male or female, the effect we are seeing it every day. Most often we always talk about or complain about when it comes to extreme heat within the sub-Saharan Africa, especially in the Gambia here. It is very hot. But sometimes it could be natural, but sometimes it could be human activities that led to that. Especially, I said, bush burning. Bush burning, we all know an area which is so much occupied with a vegetative nature has always a trend of reduction when it comes to heat itself. But an area whereby it's not covered with a lot of vegetation, that place always experience extreme heat and high temperature itself. So that's why it is important for people to know some of the human activities that we used to do are the main problems why we have climate change nowadays. Yeah, especially if you come to the rural Gambia, and even not even the rural Gambia, you come to even to the urban Gambia. people in the urban Gambia, if you come to their waste management, you come to their, their control of deforestation or towards afforestation, it's always a problem. So you come to realize that it is us that is the main cause of the main problem. So now it is important now we need to go back to ourselves. Either you being as a victim or others being a victim, we need to start talking to one another. That's why I believe climate change activism is important for each and everyone and should be a concern of each and everyone. When it comes to climate change, activism itself, because the impact, the impact could be seen if it is talked about earlier on.
Wow, amazing. Because like Burma, even according to IPCC, they said like for young, most of the cost of the reason of climate change is global warming. Is a cause of human beings. The climate is changing, and they at home complain. Although some at the right time, but some bale nata. You understand? Okay, some time was but farmers did they start planting their crops, but inside geomana. So when the coxon make why do you think that summer is not going? It's not coming. Last time it come at the right time. This time at the right time. You don't ask yourself, you the human beings. We are causing something in the soil. We are causing something in the ecosystem. Which is leading drought. Because we said some of the problems of climate change is drought. Some at the right time. So you talk about bush burning, which is a very, very key problem. So, but if you have bush burning, you come and say, general society. You want us to be, in daily life. How do we now? What strategy can we use in the side of bush burning? Not to burn the bush, but to burn this pollution. Understand? What can we do rather than pollution or bush burning?
Mr. Komma, I came from Kumata back. Jama antal kumkilumota Kenyan as citizens. Masakundale has a great role to play there. Which I believe every country can do as other countries are doing, especially when you are a victim of it. To be born in the bush. They take it, recycle it, and form them as a form of feed for animals. And it becomes as a source of money for many people. The LBG, they take it and use it as a source of mulching in their gardens. Why not now government have a very strong policies in every, within that engulf the entire citizens. Anybody who is found born in the bush, this particular, penalty could be laid on you. No, okay, now people will have the fear factor but you must tell them why
that also is important. That is to educate the masses.
You must raise awareness in them. Why shouldn't they burn the bush? Why shouldn't they, set fire on the bush? That is what I'm saying here. Help them to know that this particular grass that people are cutting, it can be served as a feed. It can be torn in making a lot of furniture itself. If you go to other countries, so other countries are recycling it, by using them as a mulching product for small garden and even for horticulture itself. Empower people that are doing that, and empower people that could also have the idea and to know the importance of those.
So in a sense, what you're saying, it can serve as a source of employment.
So, for sure, how many hectares of land do we have filled with different kind of grasses? Teach people on how important are these grass, how could they have this particular grass, and how could they use this particular grass. When that happens now, the expertise will now start inviting people. And when that happens now, you're going to mitigate crime rate and you're going to mitigate liabilities within the society. You go to CRR, how many hectares are there? You go to URR, how many hectares are there? If you go to NBR, how many hectares are there? How many youths are going to employ there on different areas? Because the importance of the grass is not settled on only three aspects. It depends on how your technology have boost as a country. When it comes to feed, you come to mulching, you come to even furniture making, you come to even fabrics and decoration itself. So all these areas could be utilized as a nation. That's what I used to keep on telling people. Availability of resources, it's good. But what makes people to realize the availability of resources is utilization. Very important. And people can never utilize anything available with them unless awareness is raised to the masses to understand the importance.
People depend more on accessibility. So I want to access. If you access, how do you utilize?
That is the main problem. It's like I have the hand, I don't know how to eat with the hand. Then the importance of the hand becomes useless.
Become absolutely baseless. Amazing. This is getting very interesting. Climate change, I think this is long abundant. mol ka jam fannaden and to be involved in things me along ko amon kumay on necessary criticism necessary default atral blame upon the mol bala akumatale we cannot sideline the government when it comes to the sustainability the mitigation of climate change ukumaya batale Ibrahim we just this is just the tip of the iceberg because we're going more for people to know what climate change is. What is climate change? How is climate changing? And how can we mitigate climate change? What impact does climate change have in our lives? So you think, why is climate changing? We talked about human are responsible. We talk about bush burning. What the factors are there? It contributes to climate change.
Yeah, niajibe molnim taka fahamunum climate change fonte olomu alhawla falingo wow alhawdu na falingo jama aka ku jamale sabu mol ma miala on ka hadama di mol batani lingol sama niajibe katara de nabo ko nyinande sama geomancy nyinande sama mansor wala nyina tiol bete yata bar geomancy wala nyol bere na geomancy ha to nyalon o niel jibe do mu ala nan daro do mu ala fon la kir nyalle de bari jama bi je hadama di mol fon la baro la katina kana. That is where the main problem lies. Most of our activities is what led to those things to become insufficient with us. For example, when we talk about, we said bush burning. For example, we said that's the first reason human factors that normally affect, that normally led to climate change. We talk about deforestation. Eka moja aka yirukundu balafiri yakam. Nega ko sama we have a 3-planet exercise amare buketa. Abukana. And until more kilo kafoko, until more kilo nikamdo dunta, while Niku Keremian ka koleta dinkirato Safoko, but Barinina candibata, but Senina, candidi, Mobu.
There is a discussion.
If I in Kante Muneke, Miatina be Blaba Kandri. It a lumen nebita Gulokono, you will be a kuntu. Imahani irikilin tutu, Hani irikilin to the Geta G1. Home problem killing it. Ito mo kilin ko ngita do yebin gulo ko na ibe jitro ko nyina fa nyamo siya bara nganta ka lo nyina edim babula gulo ko ito mo kilin ibe taman ko banna nambale to banna fa siloka ni be mo ko de mian ka katna al hawo falen ka wa falen aka falen an no kere dron akandal harama bi ngol lemuta ka bol tora ka mol man tora ba kala ndel nyata kalon ko harama bi ngol balu ko no fonyo le katar al hawa ko no ndel nin da fa ngol tema ndel ni yir fa ngol tema. So following, we call it the exchange of gases. That is the carbon monoxide and the how to call it, the oxygen gas. So no one said al hawa kana mudna ko tegedron ikat al hawa kana akakam dal amba kam fandi kamuin kat. Wala tan jama al hawa fa climate change itself mulka stop pake within a lot of nations nowadays, especially na mofin kunda bankol abasia kam pake kato moltata wato to nyana ko mankia wala I'm not worried about it now no mimbe kala eke by bakela but don't be bugi blame because imala imalong what is climate change imalo ala hawa falling imalo muneka ake imalo na mu ala barule so always wala ka this kind of dialogues and discussions wala na kabire kumandro ka ade tamburu bakale I know bar ko jigita ko banku ding na tara fembe to mialam ka kumata pour molia moy is better ni kumande yedan yekiliro yedan wala saga for you have something in your head but like development could be done in different ways among only you have to be there in the government like what you do here right now many people they don't even know what is climate change mara mu nak al hawa falin fele kay ko ila baro la ka ken e kay rol bondi ibukatu ko you contribute problem bale mat olan je man sakunda nyanta ka mol mako bakele ntal sediya mo kenon se mol kala mutande bare pour ka mol fatandi ila o idata baro minna fo man sakunda se nyalle nati mi hana man ka force ko nati folo fo se mol kala mutana ku malale fulanjango yemol kala mutande o ikenya la ku ma atelto sabanjango tumo yelu walandi wato ya lom fakka bare ni momo ya luwa so zalan ko mutawte yati banku jamal kan ikolake nitara misal fe itara in Ivory Coast, itara in Cameroon, itara halina Senegal janjani itara je ibayla ko luwal be lare ne mutay kahiri dol mutay ki kunto wala kadula jane ikan nan kamna jogola ita la nyanda kela. So in a sense here we don't have the law. Yes, walakin the people are behaving anyhow. That is a problem. Hanata the GFN people it's not being reinforced. We have very good policies that are really protecting our vegetation. but the problem is implementation.
So how do you implement? Why that is sad. You as a nation, you're very good in making policies. So the implementation you're talking about, is it the people or the strict emphasis in Montreal to put those imposes on people? Like I think are you saying that side also is a fault?
It's a big fault and it's a big problem. We have very good ministries here with very good policies that are responsible for safeguarding the environment at any time to mitigate,
like NEA,
like National Environment Agency. Yeah, you have even the Ministry of Environment. So now, as young people, we have different CSOs. We have a lot of civil society organizations that serve as a pressure group towards them. We keep on reminding them. We keep on organizing conferences to remind them about their response. We invite them to those programs and let them talk about to people what did they have at hand in also helping us to talk to people and reduce some of the problems of climate change within the society. Example of them, the local conference of youth on climate change. Every year it comes.
Oh, they are doing a very tremendous job.
Yeah. You know, the Gambia Environment Alliance with Muhammad Hydra and Dawda Cham. You have them here. They are doing extremely well. Inviting people across from different parts of the country, putting them together and educating them about the importance of climate change itself.
Yeah. So climate change, it is a global problem.
Yeah, it is. It is a global problem.
But it is affecting more
on Africa itself.
In developing countries.
Yeah, yeah.
So the use of green gases. You know, right now we depend more on it.
Yeah.
We should depend on the sun to give us our lights or our natural resources. What can I do?
Yeah, omu kudo timialanko, you know, monyin taka faham bakale. Niajibe in Africa, especially in the Gambia, it's among those countries that are blessed with high radiance of sun. And with this sun, if it is utilized, we have a lot of solar energy from it. By the usage of solar energy, the emission of the gas could be reduced within the societies. Because most of our cars that we have within Africa, especially in the Gambia here, they use fossil fuels through the refinery from the petroleum itself. Which, if it is emitted to the atmosphere, it affects the atmosphere. It affects the ozone layer of the atmosphere itself. When that happens now, the easy penetration and the over-radiance of the sun becomes a burden on us. Because the emission of the gas is too much. The emission of the CO2 is too much. The emission of the nitrous gas is too much. The emission of the methane gas is too much. In the gas, it really affects the ozone layer, and it even affects us as people. So Africa, the suggestion that people could give right now, especially when it comes to innovation and technology, saying we should work on now how to use cars that are charged.
Cars that are charged.
Yeah, that use no fossil fuel.
Okay, you see, that's also, you know, Africa is a developing country.
Yeah,
it's a developing continent.
Yeah,
the use of technological cars. So what we trying to there's an area in climate change which is the use of mass transit.
Yeah,
it's important. Not now everybody want to have his own car in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Therefore now what we're going to do now, and let's bring more of public cars, public transport.
Yeah,
let's the government invest more on public transport. Let them put money there to reduce the fares.
So
not everybody will say, okay, I will have it. I will first one more like I know those gases. Won't go to the atmosphere and leads to global warming, and it leads to climate change.
So
you've been talking about now this to mitigate, like to count the cars. For example, if a car doesn't enter in Banjul or coming like in Gambia, should be controlled, should be numbered. So we should invest more in public cars than in private vehicles.
So ote kenola, you know, yala jama Africa ni efe ngofondro ikafloko ote kenola. But bankudo baki kanne. In Africa the bankudo baki kanne.
Exactly.
You go to Burkina Faso. Right now they are trying to graduate themselves from using the fossil fuel. They are trying to graduate themselves from using even the dams, you know, even using the other means whereby you could emit the gas towards the atmosphere. They have more than 5,000 plants of solar energy. Where are they getting that? They are making the best use of the sun that they have.
Wow.
In doing so, what are they doing? They are trying to at least reduce the emission of the gas, which is affecting the ozone layer and even affecting us as human beings. You go to Rwanda, they have days in their working days whereby people don't use cars that are using fossil fuel. You use cars that are charged, and even sometimes in the weekends you use bicycle to go for work. Why are they doing that? Because they came to realize that without a healthy environment, without a healthy atmosphere, there's always a problem for human activity.
You know, this is interesting.
Yeah.
We are Africans. You know? Then I think the molecular in the Gambia is is the awareness.
Yeah.
If a country is lacking awareness, I would say lacking inadequate awareness. So you give a very good example. At least that is from Europe. I can Europe compare. We are giving an example of Kigali.
Yeah.
In which we said in 1990 something they were in genocide.
Yeah.
They were tribal war. There was a civil war.
This is a classical example. Any country that has a vision, you don't need to even go far of emulating. You don't need to go far of be ambitious of what other countries are doing within the continent itself.
With a population of 1.6 million.
Yeah.
Rwanda. 1.7 estimated.
It's less than 2.5 billion compared to Gambia. You come to, for example, right now, you go to even in Kenya, you go to even Tanzania. These are all countries that are doing well when it comes to the battle of climate change. They started with raising awareness first, making the citizens to understand what are the effects of climate change. Because there is a syndrome towards climate change. Many people thought, for example, when you have the spirit of Pan-Africanism in you, you don't accept it in an easy manner.
Yeah.
But if you check out, you could see the impact right now is affecting us.
They will say it's a Western phenomenon.
Yeah.
Just imposed in Africa. Just to use us as mechanism. Like what they have been doing for
Yeah. So some of those issues are really affecting us. So now we need to understand what are we doing that to an extent that it is affecting us. So all of the caring science and
wow. So the laws, lual bijele, bari mantari practice.
So if you go to the National Environment Agency, especially the Environmental Act of this country, we have very good laws. There's an amount of more. There's an amount of money that you are supposed to pay.
Waste management.
Yeah, waste management. There's even which may cause flood overflow.
Even
towards the environment.
Stage.
Yeah. These are human activities. So the people masakunda nantaka CSOs makoyle ye ministry fana makoy, let them start enforcing those laws. Ntala for no lual ye muta ye sembentu ya ayiri kuntu balom bang abla jeni balom bang ambali tefe blalto bang abibe talalal to nyala kam dan nyam mutola fana me an ko kasisio bandi all be ab wato tala bara sakeno
of course
ku karate dulata ni la faka futat lat wala ne ko ni kube nyako no e ka dat nin sinna tamo la folo
man ni ko
jama ni o kadron aka sone go
jele fe 1000 mal digiri
yeah banku belo leke ne yiri wanda fojana kala jelle kete je mo jelle fata je kabiri 1990 something ya that no tumola ye mol kalamata no tumo they came to empower. You not look at example of Uganda itself, the same thing like Ketaji. You come to Liberia itself, the same thing like Ketaji. You come to Sierra Leone or like Ketaji. But albeit they are trying by all means, technology is advancing. If motor use can motor like garot, if better but buka fan use me along al how button.
No, del fang Ibrahim del punga climate change ka kele amanya kola del ma
no amanya kola
later cool ba jama.
Yeah,
because we have all the resources it takes,
wallahi,
all the people, all the equipments it takes,
so
but still it's affecting us.
Yeah,
so it's a big problem. So Ibrahim, this will lead me to the next question. Like you understand it and you are aspiring. I should not even have to. You are aspiring climate change activists. You are humble. Many people are always humble down to earth. They say that I'm always learning. So I must not say you are aspiring, but you are of course an in-depth guy, in-depth somebody who understands climate change. You are in fact an expert. So the issue of deforestation, we talk about that. The issue of this thing, bush burning, we talked about that. The issue of the use of advanced technology in Africa, we talk about that.
Yeah.
So we the young people, in the long, we are the cornerstones of national development. You understand? So currently, what role do young people have? Me and you, we are young, we're talking about these things in a bigger platform to inspire people. We are also learning. What role do we have as young people in the approach of climate change? Because it got mitigation. It's not alleviation. It will mitigate people can reduce. Because at the we'll come to the question where we say, what role does nature have? We'll come to that.
Yeah.
So what role does people like me and you have in the mitigation of alhawala faliw ning alhawa faliw ni dal fonni kele mo le mo solo pour kake pour nga alhawa faliw ni nga tala what do you think we have?
So one theological scholar said, he said, a nation cannot be reformed without reformation of its youth. Ite banku dimo la alhawo falin wala fonin funding ko la alhawo falin.
Wow, interesting.
Ko dum falin folo londo fo samol faham dala folo
Knowledge.
itna do rek kidi mol ka ya mol ko alif fembula mi alon koy meta kono e kada ne londol o londo kono fese famma ja kono yemol kala mutande ala beti ala annum fan aka muna ku jawnade mole folo minyo kadro ibadala ndol we the young people will realize our role in it. Every young person needs to think about this. Once you are aware, once you know the importance of the environment that you are in, you need to reflect yourself back. That's why, most of the entrepreneur writers will say self-reflection leads to self-contribution. If you reflect over yourself, you'll be able to contribute to yourself. Ndese mune kino wala mune be kiring ye fanyi ninka ye fanyi be ba ke fam fele naw otumole kala de mo si fanya otumole fanan kala mune problem si ba be ken de fam bala wala mi alan ko problem fam be kiring banko fananka so ni nya jibe intel mi alan ko lungol be taka ete sa tarano de mi be tara lonna bari bantala dula fa bari nyina wa sama man rabbe tare bari nyina karo to nyala samane al hawo ala ndaro le kamuta a kadula kile bar ajibe munat nas munto ni ke ba ni nga ko nin sanjo kana kata fa sanji lulu kar lulu kar wo sanji sama bina kan ro donc dol kay kata fa sanji kono sama bina like so Nigeria Ghana wo ni kar munat na ol bo so ko munat dal panaman ro so ka dol bi je to nyalo omu alla kiro bari ni nyaaji ba problème fo ta dana ta o muntal harama dimol so tel fannin ko ngenta ka wille ka mol kala mutandi annum fa ni nyaay jero de mi alan ko iba ko so kan salve ka tinyaro ke banko ka yiri kunti wala ka village ne na call report. Let us report to people that are in authority so that at least we can help them also in it to investigate the matter and also amplify the laws that are at hand in governing those areas when it comes to climate change itself. Yeah.
So what you said in a sense, we have to forget about the culture of masalaha.
Yeah, that has to be taken away. We am but in the back when it comes to space in the Gambia here. Kari ake, mbadi na batna abulaje. But ini itelo kari ni ay moy wuli jelle fana mantora. Am moy wuli ka ite fam badi won fam be serinje. Minen ye badi kili muta yade fasa ye badi tang mantora. Omu fanto tilimbale yalti. Fanto tilimbale omu katum ibe mo kilina ku ni ibola kana ka mo kembe mantora. So what fonse bankoje follow funding kewol na jiben se mine kino bankoye amaga fanko da mate. Development is not all about finance. Sharing of ideas, sharing of vision, on taking role in helping those that are in authority to make sure those areas that are at hand can be dealt with in accordance with the laws at hand. Because law and intelligence can mental. No one is above the law because
in a sense we must not compromise the law.
Yeah. Because those laws are what makes us successfully adapting with one another within the society.
Brother, that is an important point. Yeah. We must not compromise law when it comes to development, or else there will be delinquency in development. IBRAHIM JARRA, there is a point in climate change called adaptability. You adapt to the climate. How do you talk to a layman? How do you adapt? Last time, so climate change affects a lot. Maybe a the system from coldness to hotness. So how do you make a frame about adaptability in climate change?
Yeah, we need to have strong research methods. Ninyo soto ibadelen se mol kala mutana janaka si. Banku jamaka nim fonyo banyan takake sama minna. Janaka na sanji killing wala sanji fula wala kar sawa janaka na ekamol kala budan. So that now the mind will be prepared. There will be a mindset preparedness that something is about to come which is going to affect us. We need to now check on how can I help myself? How can I avoid myself?
Did they call those as meteorologists?
Yeah, very good. Meteorologists. Very good. They raise more awareness when it comes to climate itself. So we need to have those ones in the country here. Jama ka sotole, especially in Wardo Yaje ko Kankan Siabata. We have the intertropical continental air mass nowadays happening. Because sometimes be someone that Juno Kankan by Nana, or the phone book of the Kankan William Bakatona. Sometimes they someone that Juno William Catilo Fonge. The climate change activities in this country, in response to the weather forecast and the meteorologists in this country, Yemol Kalamutane. Eko moleko nyalbe finda al face max do. Yeah, alikeku Kankan. All there are ways in which it can also mitigate some of the health risk factors that are affecting people. There needs to be a research center responsible for that, in correspondence with the climate changes within the country, whereby people can now be prepared in themselves on how to adapt to some of the changes before they arise.
Yeah. Wow. This is a very, very interesting dialogue. Yeah. And in fact, I am learning a lot here, you know. My boss is can't make a back about, you know. You know, climate change, you know, is a problem. So, akumate pumule diama. Meteorologists, we need to have a research center in the country. Pumule really understand our adaptability. How can we adapt to the environment? Not in okay, go where focus go next more the then we prepared for us. We can prepare ourselves. Centers and measures using like because mostly last time I just saw a post that there will be too much like the 3 months
here against March. Nice.
So there will be very much
lot of dust. So people need to take in water to dehydrate themselves. They have to be using face masks to protect themselves to avoid any cardiac problems within their respiratory tracts.
So meaning we need to have those meteorologists.
Yeah.
But I'm like those who prescribe them.
Yeah.
They are not Gambian.
They are not.
So you cannot define the atmosphere of the Gambia.
No.
While you are in the United States of America.
No.
Right? While you are in Kigali, we are in different poles.
Absolutely.
So we need to have research centers, experts. We have okay, some because we have veranda. So we need to have people that are expert in that. So I'll prepare anything. Enlighten the people, go to reviews, television, schools, sensitization in general is needed.
Knowledge, when we say knowledge is wealth or knowledge is power, this is where it starts. You have to nurture people to understand what is the reality on the ground. In any country that you want to have a very effective advocacy, awareness have to be raised with the basic knowledge of people to understand what it entails. In the Gambia, it's always a challenge. If you go to our rural Gambia, especially, you come to people and you want to talk about climate change, climate change. But sit to them, talk to them with what they understand, especially like the Mandinka language, the Fula, any language you feel like you believe in that community, they understand. Talk to them in that language. You cannot just come and say deforestation is bad, bush burning is bad. They will ask someone on bush burning.
Just like Nelson Mandela, or if you speak another language to another man, it goes to his head. But if you speak his own language, it goes to his heart.
So, and that is the fact.
Wow.
And I'm advising this to most of the Gambian advocates when it comes to climate change. You reach out to people whereby they can understand the English language. Let us look for experts in other language that community understand. Let the people understand the message.
In a sense, you can be advocating for climate change for a longest time. As far as even like
that is the main problem.
So we just speak our language. We need to contact communities and tell them in our own tone, so that we can also mitigate the issues of climate change.
That impact, even I could realize that last year when I attended local conference of climate change, with youths organized at the ELCOI. When I went back for implementation, I started with the school, with the language that they understand. From there in the community, you could see last year, around November towards December, we planted almost to 5,000 mangrove trees within the furrows of Lower River region.
Amazing.
Because they understood how these things is, it is important. Because that time we could realize that the sea tide is now overflowing what we call the salinized water towards the main sea. When that happens now, the growth of rice production reduced. And most of the rural Gambia will depend on the rice for food. So now, in order to mitigate that production of salt itself within the river, we have to plant more mangrove trees.
Interesting. Beautiful viewers, IBRAHIM JARRA is I said he's an aspiring climate change activist, but I said he is an expert. He said education, knowledge is important for young people to understand the process of climate change. Government have a role to play, important to educate the masses, invest on projects that is to educate people about the effect of climate change. And he also talked about that you must not compromise laws, because without laws, there is no development. You must not compromise the culture of Masalaha to die in society, because we are living now in a very, very detrimental world in which you cannot create laws for anything. And also the last but not the least is that speak to people in their language that they understand. You cannot be a climate change activist for the Gambia while you speak English language for them for the rest of your life. They will remain in limbo. Like Mr. Mandela said, if you want to speak to a man who doesn't understand a language, that pronouncement go to his head. But if you speak to the language that he also understood, that goes to his head. That goes to his head. Thank you so much, IBRAHIM JARRA. Very interesting one. Please. This will lead to an epilogue. This will come the downstage of this beautiful program. IBRAHIM KOMMA about it. No, yes, Jamal Karanda. We learn massively. So I would love you to, what advice do you have for young people as a climate change activist? Funding they are here. They learn. They ask, where is this band from? What advice do you have for these young people?
Yeah, funding kewale momo nyanta ka jede ko ete mo banku do kulalti momo nyanta ka je ko ete fana man sakundalti kana je ko man sakunda mo kinna ta nyanta ka do kulati momo nyanta ka je ko ete fana man sakundati ete nyanta ka do ko ete fana mi fan so man sakundati. Early on in December, I was lucky to have a conference in Dakar. We call it the Green Growth Africa.
I saw that in the study.
Yeah, so Kabiru and Kumanda, they talk about why the climate of Africa is unpredictable. Muna bi muka sirna fako nyina waka sama jiro se wala nyina waka sama wala laju nanya muna mugo fono because of mfongola do ko latina. Our own human activities are the main cause, and all that results to the main reasons or main causes of climate change. All latina be the climate of Africa is unpredictable, and allow that unpredictability of the climate of Africa all eventually from Paradnika. Abe Gambia Paradnika na bari Africa kono animbanku dola be fana Paradnika. So funding ke at the moment momo mi anon ko be dawo dandi ye moje abdullah janekan amari yamar wala yamari samba loi nyatlon ye momo da be yiri kuntola amari yamar ida a yirdo tutu wala aya tuje nyinyo ke do ibade la be ku jama be jabetala ni moje mi anon ka amari dol fay kan lato yamari yamar ni moje mi anon ko abe prononcing jeno la jama yamari yamar. Youths, we have to take the lead in doing so. What I used to tell people, if you are expecting great expectations, you should never allow to be at ease with yourself. Although you need to have the spirit of patriotism in yourself. Great expectations, you never need to be at ease with yourself. In talking to people, in sharing your ideas, in holding people accountable of the responsibilities given to you. New York will have a better Gambia when it comes to climate change itself, resilience or mitigation in the Gambia itself.
Amazing. Yeah. Very amazing. Young people must take charge. You must delve into knowledge. You must understand what you're doing. Avoid deforestation. Involve in the afforestation. Do tree planting exercise. Involve yourself in the activism change of climate change. You have a responsibility. You are the youths. We are the youths, Sada. Youth empowerment is fundamental to change any country. You had Mr. IBRAHIM JARRA, an aspiring climate change activist, a teacher, and of course, an entrepreneur. IBRAHIM, Abarkabaki for joining us. We appreciate your coming, and thank you so very much once again for honoring our invitation. Beautiful viewers, thank you so very much, and see you some other time.
Welcome to Soogf Online TV. Support our own Gambian Foundation. Support our own Gambian Foundation. This is the first of its kind. Support our own Gambian Foundation is standing on 4 important philosophies. That is to empower, to motivate, to inspire, and of course, to uplift the young.